Before we get started, I am part of the Finals Content Creator Program. Just because I am part of a creative program doesn't mean that I'll automatically sell you on a game I'm playing. If I'm part of the creative program, but the game isn't good, I'll tell you why. And if the game is good, I'll tell you why. Transparency is a good thing in gaming, and I'll always be transparent with my impressions, reviews, and when I talk about games on the podcast. With that said, overall, I'm really enjoying my time with the finals. So what the heck is the finals? Well, it's a free-to-play first-person shooter where you and two team members are dropped into a television show with the main goal of banking the most money. To do this, you need to capture vaults and bring those vaults to designated cash-out places. Both vault and cash-out sites take a certain amount of time for your transaction to occur, which means other teams can and will rush you and steal your vault or where the cash is being sent. And this is where a huge strategy piece comes in place for the finals. Every piece of this world is destructible. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say that again. Every piece of this world is destructible. In a game the other night, my team was cashing out and we had the entryways of a third floor room either gooed up or blocked off. So what did the other team do? These guys decided to lay charges on the ceiling of the room directly beneath us, blow it up, and drop the cash out box onto the floor. The environment mimics the environments us old heads have run through in games like Battlefield Bad Company. And much like those older Battlefield games, allows you to bring so much strategy into play. There's something purely chaotic when you're trying to cash out or you're chasing another team and the building in front of you is falling down. It's hard to really talk about the difference that this makes, but you can feel it when you're playing. And there have been many times where I have used this destructible environment to my advantage. One instance is where my team was capturing a vault and I took my breaching charge and destroyed the east and west staircases leading into the room we were in. In this closed beta, we currently have 4 maps that we can play through, and all these maps have one thing in common: verticality. Every building and every map has multiple entry points, whether it's windows or doors or skylights or the roof. And if you don't like any of these points into a building, you make your own. Breaching charges, RPGs, explosive mines, it doesn't matter. Make your own. Movement around the maps is helped by zip lines that are both vertical and horizontal, as well as jump pads to launch you across large gaps. Movement around the map is helped by zip lines that are both horizontal and vertical, as well as jump pads to launch you across the map. The game feels a little too fast when it comes to movement. While I understand I still need to play around with my mouse sensitivity, your player character feels slippery when he's running. Been a fair number of times where my player slipped off a map. Skill issue? It's possible. I'm not going to sit here and just, bash the movement. Class system is based on body type. So you have a light, a build, and a heavy. Each body build has access to their own guns instead of equipment. Light bodies have faster movement among the 3, but the less HP, with access to small guns, melee weapons like knives and SMGs and pistols. Medium bodies have access to repeater shotguns, a pump grenade launcher, while heavy can use an LMG, a sledgehammer, or a flamethrower. Equipment, like weapons, differ between body types as well. It is possible I am overstepping my knowledge, but some weapons seem incredibly underpowered in this game. Let's use an example. I was using the pump action grenade launcher, standing above an enemy who was reviving a teammate, and dropped my 4 grenades onto him as he was crouched over reviving said teammate. After unloading my grenades on him, went into my reload, he was still able to revive his teammate and run away. Situations like this don't seem like it should happen, especially given the slow reload time of that pump action grenade launcher or the repeater. Again, I want to make this clear. I could be speaking way above what I know, but the time to kill, going to be calling it TTK moving forward. Seems longer than it should be. One of the reasons I didn't like games like Halo Infinite is the TTK seemed way too long. I understand Embark Studios has a job to make sure all weapons are viable, but things like my grenade launcher situation is incredibly frustrating. There are headshots, which have both a different sound and your crosshair turns yellow when you ding them, which will do more damage, but the weapons don't seem balanced to me at all. Again, this is my perception of the time to kill in the finals, but it's not enough for me to stop playing. I bring this up because if you're used to coming from a game like Call of Duty where you take 2 breaths and you're dead, then you are going to be incredibly frustrated until you are acclimated to how quickly this game moves around. Graphically, this game runs wonderfully on my machine. My relevant specs, you should all know it by now, but if you're new to the channel, Ryzen 7 5800X, 8-core processor for their CPU, NVIDIA RTX 3070, and 64 gigabytes of RAM. While keeping OBS open to record gameplay footage and running the game on epic quality, I was hitting frames over 60, mostly straddling that 80 to 90 region. While I don't think this graphical fidelity is important, putting it through this kind of benchmark test is important to see how far I can push my machine. As I did, my temp stayed around 60 degrees Celsius, which is what I expect when I'm doing heavy load gaming. There was some screen tearing, but that also seemed to coincide with large lag spikes. And my biggest issue, and it's a closed beta, and I know it, that they'll hopefully fix it, is that the lag in this game can be terribly off-putting and make the game unplayable. Again, 85 or 90% of the matches I played have been buttery smooth with no issues, but man, when that lag hits, your character is like sliding on a sheet of ice while trying to walk back. We have to remember this is a closed beta. These things are going to happen, and the beta test will hopefully give the developers at Embark a change to fix server capacity. There's practically no controller support. I like to play my FPS games with controller because I'm a console scrub that has played with a controller for like 30 years, and I'm not willing to assimilate to mouse and keyboard. I'm just not. So stop. I don't care. I find myself playing quick twitch games better with controller. Call of Duties, right? Overwatch, I can play mouse and keyboard. Hunt, I can play mouse and keyboard. Something like this, where I need to constantly be moving around, I feel more comfortable with a controller. Using an Xbox controller, there are no settings to actually change your controller settings. There's only keyboard settings. I couldn't find an option to change the controller's inverse look. It was a nightmare. But hey, overall, my impressions with the finals have been very positive. I genuinely enjoyed my time running around the game show style setting, trying to figure out the best approach with my teammates. I recommend playing this game with friends in a Discord because my luck with randoms has not been great. But honestly, that is like every multiplayer game out there. So far, big thumbs up from me regarding the finals. I'm excited to get my hands into the hamburger, as I like to say. Jump online with some friends and really start stealing those cash outs. If you enjoyed this impressions video, hit that subscribe button for more of the finals content. My name is Pazell56X. This has been 3 Dads on a Console. Thank you so much and have yourself a great day.